Okay. Michelle, would you do me a favor and look through the camera and see if you can see me and what it...
Are you going to sit?
Huh?
Are you going to sit?
No, I'm going to stand.
I can see you from here.
Oh, that's all
Okay.
you need to see.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Caitlin had a question.
Yeah, we didn't, we weren't told any, the new ones, we weren't told any instructions on this, so I don't know if that's fair. I didn't know that they had to be different times. I don't.
Oh, well, yes, because you've got your time for your jury charge, which is an hour, correct?
Yes, I understand that now, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
We didn't get any.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah,
no
I didn't know
instructions.
either. I had no idea what we were doing.
All right, well, I'll explain it to you then.
Okay, thank you.
You know, when you go and take your CSR, you will have an hour for each leg of the test. A leg is for your lit, jury, Q&A. So the time here is when you start your jury charge, when you end your jury charge. The time here for literary, when you start your literary, when you end your literary. And Q&A, when you start your Q&A and when you end your Q&A. So it would be a total of 3 hours. But of course, if you finish ahead of time, which you shouldn't, you should use all of that time. It should be equivalent to 3 hours.
And then is it supposed to be in the same file or separate files, the different tests?
With the CSR, they should be in different files.
And for our test as well?
I don't think it would really matter. Yeah. But you just need to show the time that you spend on each of the 3 categories.
And so the grade that we get is a grade at the top, is that?
Yes.
Okay, so if
You're
you're going to talk to you about this later on, is it Ms. Word that graded this, or you?
I would talk to Cheryl.
Okay, I'll talk to her.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
know this is a silly question. Like after we take the 3 legs of the test, is the whole start time and end time? So like, say you need to get up and use the restroom, get a drink of water before you come back and edit. Is that why you put like, okay, I'm back? It's whatever time started.
Well, you should be able to get and stay an hour without having to get up and leave, I would think.
Okay, well, I just didn't know. Like I saw people coming and going. It was our first time in there, so.
Okay, well, no, because your time's running. You're not going to go, okay, I started my jury charge at 10:15. I went to the bathroom at 10:25. I got back at 10:30, and I started again at...
Okay, that's not what I meant.
Oh,
I
okay.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so, you know, before you come into class, do all that stuff you need to do. Pray, whatever. Oh. Any other questions on the cover sheet? Okay, then let's get started. On the Q&A. Now, I haven't looked over your test, so I don't know what kind of questions you would have. So, everybody knows when the sentence ends in please, put a comma before it, right? The second question, when it ends with sir or ma'am or officer or John or Mary, you put a comma to separate the name. Does everybody understand that?
You said for please answer, correct?
Yes. Yes. The yes sir or yes ma'am or yes John or yes Mary, always a comma after the yes. Yes comma sir, yes comma ma'am. And then your semicolon for the answer. And you'll also notice in this question, do you know the defendant in this case, comma, Betty Mason? Okay? Here's a yes, comma, sir, period. Any other questions on that page? Yeah, this is fun. It's like being on TV. All right, here's the next page. The dates, you don't write them out. You would not write out 30th. You always use the numeral. The second question, now, comma. You would have something like also, comma. Again, comma. During the course of your work with the police department, comma. Now, I think as far as like this semicolon here, yeah. I think a comma would suffice as well, don't you think, Grant? I think a comma actually would be better because you don't need such a hard break in there. So you could go, yes, comma, sir, comma, it was, period. Any other questions on the second page? Let's see. Okay, you ready to go on? I'll take that as a yes.
You're on a roll.
Well, you know, the sooner we get done, it's like then we can go play. Oh. Here we have another date, September 18th. Do not write it out. Any questions on this? Also on the date, it was at 7409 Alpine Street, numerals. Did everybody do this last question the way it is up here? Can you guys see with this thing here?
No, it ended at Texas.
I'm sorry?
It ended at here in San Antonio, Texas. We didn't have that last sentence.
Oh, well, on this page, that's where it ends. San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, it ended there.
Oh, because they have
Oh, you had a short.
different speed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so what did you do as you approached the building? Question mark. Whole nother question. Was she outside, comma? Or where did you arrange to meet her? Question mark. That would not be one sentence at all. Also here, it was here in San Antonio, comma, Texas. Okay? Questions? This page is crooked. Now, some of these commas, in my opinion, and I'm not an English major, but I was a court reporter for 20 years. I drove up in the driveway of that residence and she was out there in the front yard. I don't know why that comma's there, personally. I probably would have left it out. And the main thing about doing a transcript, you want it to be easily read. And if you have a bunch of commas in there, it chops it up. So the saying is, less is best for commas. So don't go comma crazy.
When in doubt, leave it out.
When in doubt, leave it out.
Goes for
Or when in doubt, write it out.
Yeah.
Any questions? Now, if you're wondering why Betty is underlined, that's just because it's marked so that we know to give that to you as a preview word. That's all that is. And these slashes are just marked so we can read it at different speeds. Questions? Now tell me when to stop if I'm going too far. What's the high speed in here? Is it 140?
Yeah.
So 140 stops at 35.
That's the last page.
Yeah. Now, I do agree with these commas here.
I didn't put the one after minutes later. And I guess that goes back to what you just said.
Yeah,
But I both of them, I think.
yeah, I think both of those are correct. Here's another one. What was said in that discussion, comma, if anything? Okay, because that's just kind of extraneous there. You could have the sentence, what was said in that discussion, question mark. So this is just kind of a hanger-on, so you would separate that with a comma. Also with a little beginning, introductory, as I recall, comma, as I remember, that kind of stuff. Okay? Any questions? All right. Let's go on to the jury charge. And everybody knows after ladies and gentlemen of the jury, comma, members of the jury, comma,
We were taught to do the colon, so how do you know the difference?
it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Colon, comma. Just be sure to put something there. Ladies and gentlemen, comma.
It's so weird because like I indented mine, but this says no indents. But like in my old school, they wanted us to indent. Like I would be.
That's how Mr. Hopkins had us do it too. It would be, ladies and gentlemen, of
It's
the
like
jury.
I got a color marked off. I was like, that's weird because I did edit it. My grammar, I just don't know where the colors. I didn't grow.
I have never seen it where you go down to the next line
So just-
for it, but
In the last semester, we had, we were shown both ways. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, colon, new paragraph,
Yeah.
indent. But I think that's two accepted ways, just run on like that
Yeah.
with a comma.
Just
We're-
do this from now on, just so I don't get graded off.
Yeah.
I think most of us are doing that.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we're gonna get counted wrong if we do it
No.
that way?
Well, I
You
got
shouldn't.
counted wrong.
You shouldn't.
No,
I did.
Either way.
I don't know who corrected it.
I mean, you're going to be handed the jury charge anyway, so.
Okay.
Yes.
No, nothing.
Oh.
It is different from what Mr. Hopkins taught, but for the future, just write it with a comma.
That's
Yeah.
what
I'm just gonna
I
write
would.
it with a comma.
Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
I would.
Less of a, then you don't even have to, when you go back to edit, you don't have to insert a
Yeah.
paragraph, indent, less work to do.
Now, I know it's confusing of when you capitalize court and when you don't. Neither are you to be concerned with the wisdom of any part of the law stated by the court. I would have capitalized it.
I would have to.
Yes.
This question is gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen supposed to be capitalized?
Gentlemen, no. You did? No. No. That's just like when you see ladies and gentlemen, you don't see gentlemen capitalized, right?
It's just our first time Mr. Hopkins had us capitalize that.
That's fine, that's
So
fine.
we're just getting used to.
You know, that's the thing about grammar and punctuation. I mean, there usually is more than one way to do something. The main thing is be consistent. You need to be consistent. Even in your misspellings, If you're gonna misspell something, misspell it all the way through. But try not to misspell anything. Yes.
Can you explain just, because my main problem is punctuation.
Uh-huh.
Just where it says, just as it would be a violation of your sworn duty, comma, as judges of the facts, comma, to base a verdict. Why, can you just explain to me?
Wait,
so I can
where are you?
Second paragraph. It's,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Regardless of any thoughts that you may have as a law, comma, it would be a violation of your sworn duty, basically. Are you
The very
talking,
last sentence, yeah, no, there, yeah.
are you talking about the semicolon
No,
here?
I didn't know if I got that. I didn't even get that.
Are you
Well,
talking about as judges of the
yeah.
facts?
Yeah.
See, you could
Yeah.
continue this just as it would be a violation of your sworn duty to base a verdict upon anything but the evidence in the case. So you can leave this out and the sentence would still make sense.
Yeah, see, I did. And they weren't good.
No, you need to put the, oh, you left this whole thing out? Or you had that in your,
I didn't put
I didn't put the
commas.
comma after the facts one.
oh.
Because your sworn duty is.
It's one of those, it's like, I don't know the terminology, but it's like an inclusive clause or something like that. You really do need to separate it by commas.
How about if the sentence started with as judges of the facts?
Comma,
You are da-da-da-da.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's
okay.
the same
Yeah, as
kind of
judges
idea.
of the facts, because it's like an opening. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Grant.
Yeah, it just came to me.
Any other questions on this page? All right. Now, a lot of this, I mean, it would be correct to do it different ways. It's very hard to, unless it's just a blatant error. Because you could, let's see, like right here, you could put a period there and start a new sentence. Well, no, you can't. Never mind. That semicolon's correct. But in this day and age, you can start sentences with and but. You'll see that a lot. Whereas, well, maybe you guys never knew you could do that before, but you can do that now. And I guess you understand these commas because you've kind of got a list of things. Because the people have equal standing in the community, they have equal worth, and also they're holding the same or similar stations in life. So that's like a list of 3 things there. My opinion, I think there are too many semicolons in here. The law is no respecter of persons, comma. All persons stand equal before the law, comma, and are to be dealt with as equals.
Could you put a dash instead of a semicolon?
No, you wouldn't want to put a dash. Normally what a dash means, it's either like a change of thought or something's been left out, something like that, but no. See, actually the way I would do it, the law is no respecter of persons, period. All persons stand equal before the law and are to be dealt with as equals in a court of justice. And I would even take this one out. So less is best. Too many, in my opinion, semicolons in here. Any questions on this page?
Is the however in there? On one of those?
You are to consider only the evidence in the case, however, considering such evidence.
Where is that?
I'm not sure what I'm looking for. It might be on the next page.
Yeah, I don't see it on that page.
However, in considering such evidence.
Yep.
That would be comma, semicolon.
Yes.
Where is that?
That was-
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
It's the third paragraph, second sentence. In the line, however.
Okay, so you start.
However, comma, in considering such evidence, comma, yeah. And then, of course, in other words, comma, because those are all these little introductory clauses.
Would it have been wrong to put a semicolon after case there? You are to consider only the evidence in this case, semicolon, however, comma. What is it? Example?
No, I don't.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't think that would be incorrect. Here's another little introductory thing, in particular, comma. Okay, ready to move on? Alrighty. I guess this is the last page here, because 35 would be. As you can see, eyewitness, one word. So that's a mistake in the hard copy here.
It's one word?
Eyewitness? Oh, yeah. Okay? Huh?
Now that I see it written, of course,
Yeah.
it makes no sense having two words.
Unless you say, I witnessed the accident. Alrighty. Alright, this is a jury charge, but it is being used as a lit. I don't know how it started in your dictation. Did it start, may it please the court?
No, ladies and gentlemen.
Just ladies and gentlemen.
Is that, ladies and gentlemen, comma?
Yes.
Okay.
Now see, there, whoever wrote that in capitalized the G, but I would not have. It is now my time to come before you. Come for you, period. Notice grand jury capitalized. Speaking about a specific grand jury.
That, semicolon after jury, is that because it's like an introduction?
Well, when you do, may it please the court, Mr. Foreman, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, colon. But that, they changed the words to protect the innocent. And there again, you see gentlemen capitalized. You know, you could probably do it both ways, but just be consistent. I, myself, have not done it that way. And here's another a sentence that starts with or. So you don't want run-on sentences by any means. So that we. And if you would have continued that on, it would have really been a long, drawn-out sentence. I also would have perhaps put a comma after naturally. Naturally, comma, his feelings are not kind. And did that comma, however, comma, those little words, however, again, Trust your notes.
Wah, wah.
Trust your notes.
Of course.
There we have another, on the other hand, comma, ladies and gentlemen, comma, because that's directing it to specific. And there we have people capitalized, people meaning the state.
Judy, can I ask you a quick question? This
Sure.
might be on, like, assault to the second degree, whenever you say second, third, fourth, do you always write that out?
Yes,
Always?
Always.
Even, I mean, it was like 20 or whatever.
well, you won't have that.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yes, always write that out. Okay? Now see, this sentence here, it would have read very strangely if it didn't have those commas. So true is that in times gone by. So true is that, comma, that in times gone by, comma, defendants were not permitted. Now, I probably would have left this comma out. It's a little choppy.
Just hold on to commas.
Yeah.
Very much kind of a liberty comma.
See, I would have broken this sentence down as well. I probably would have put a period here. Because that really runs on.
So there's never commas after bear in mind? I thought there'd be a comma after bear in mind.
No, because that's like a verb. But you must remember in testifying that they have a very strong motive. So you wouldn't put commas around remember. Now if it was bear in mind, comma, in testifying that they have a very strong motive to tell, you know, if it begins a sentence,
Okay.
yeah, just like saying, you know, remember, comma, da 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 da. Here again, we've got, because you are a special panel of very smart people, you can leave that out. He told you that he wanted you not to be swayed by prejudice. So if you can leave it out and the sentence still makes sense, you surround it by commas. And they're called something, some kind of clause. It's probably changed since I was in school. Okay?
It was a very long paragraph in this one.
Yeah.
I would break it. I
Mhm.
would break it.
Yeah, very long. Now, you know, here's something that's kind of strange. You have in the second sentence, and of course you understand, and then down on the third line, of course, comma. So I think I would have gone and, comma, of course, comma. You understand, and no comma after understand. You understand there must always be a villain. Sometimes the punctuation is wrong in these tests, but that's what I would have done. The only time that the punctuation is really counted wrong is if you have like an incomplete sentence. Like, of course, comma, I am a minor villain in this sense. I don't know why that semicolon is there. This is semicolon crazy here. But the real villain in this play as staged by counsel, and then you put a period, and then you started out, sits behind that table there. Those are incomplete sentences, and that will be marked as an error. But I think there are too many semicolons in here. I've never seen so many semicolons. I guess I can see why they treated this as a lit, because it is a little more narrative. Any more questions? And that's the end of it, right? Okay. Now, I was told that Grant does the rapid read. I will turn the stage over to him. Do we need?
Well, no, I don't. But apparently they didn't print their notes, so is there any way they can print them in here? Do you know? Is there a printer available?
Yeah, but whether everybody's hooked up to it or not.
No, but if they can, where's the printer?
I don't mind printing, but I just have a question why we can't read back from our screen. Even
Well,
though-
because you can't see everything. The idea with the rapid reading is that you take a column and you're reading way ahead. You can't scroll fast enough, so you'll never read fast. And I guess you'll appreciate this. I guess some of you don't understand why we might do this, and it's because the more you practice reading your notes, they're your notes, they're your style of writing. These are literary passages, and they're vocabulary builders. The more you practice reading them, you reinforce visualization of those outlines and those words. Okay? Eventually, it translates to how you write, so you wind up writing faster just because you're able to think faster. If you're slow in your reading, it's because you're slow in your writing. And that'll stay with you for a long time. Now, when you're out in the field and you're using paperless machines, you won't be looking at your notes unless you're looking for your editing. If somebody asks you to read back in court or in a deposition, you'll be looking back at your screen and you'll get whatever the last question was. And in our day, we've of course had our notes. But if you're able to read fast, it's a sure sign you're going to be able to write fast. And that takes a little skill to acquire. It's always been my practice, and I like doing it. It's a challenge to myself, and you need to challenge yourself doing it. That's why I suggested, I gave you a little chart on the instructions about how you can chart it for yourself. You're challenging yourself each time you attempt to do it. Without having paper notes, we have now the ability to print your notes from your software. So I believe
That's what you suggest we practice. None of us have paper.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why I said in the list of instructions, printing your notes.
I'm sorry.
Not knowing that you didn't know how to print your notes.
I don't even know that there were instructions, to be honest.
Yeah, we're just.
I handed them out. Remember when I was talking about it? I handed
You
them
did.
out to
We're
everybody.
just a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Every single
That's
thing,
fine.
every single day this week has been new for us. So just.
It's been new for everybody.
Yeah.
We'll get
We're
it.
in classrooms, telling them do this, do that.
Yeah.
No, don't do this.
Just be glad that the air's on.
So we'll.
Seriously.
So we'll print it out from now on, Grant. Like I'm
Yeah.
sorry that we.
Let's
just
go
have to-
ahead. I'd like to see some kind of reading today. Now, you're not going to be able to achieve the goal of 60 seconds for that passage because you have to practice it that way. But understand it, I'd like to see y'all read something. Okay? So why don't you go ahead and you learn how to print your notes. Where's the printer?
That's your-
I don't know if they're.
You have to print the same way we put in the
Well, I'm going to turn this off.
Do you know how like the testing works? Like when